Hey guys, and welcome to the Random Road Rage podcast. This is the first episode of the first series, and the first series is home building, right? So, my name is Vishnu, and I will be your host. And this is more for kind of my own journal entry kind of a thing to, the record the steps or record the events that happened during the my home building process. Like, we just moved into the new house 2 weeks back, so I was thinking, in the last one and a half years, we built a house, and I thought I'll share my experience through this podcast, so that people who are about to build a house, or people who are in the process of building a house, maybe they have done their half of it and they want to know what else is left. So I'll go into the details of the cost of all these things and the different steps involved. I am by no means a civil engineer or an architect. Okay, so I'm sharing things with you in terms of a person who has just built a house, right? So this is more for people who are doing the pay, like spending money to build a house, right? So there are a lot of things, and it is a very until you do it, you don't know what actually goes into it, and how you spend money on it, and how all these things work, right? So everyone wants to build a house, right? Once you start a family and you have kind of settled down to a place, you want to build a house, right? And you want to build a really good house, right, which is comfortable, which is in your budget and all that. So I thought, and this is just for the sake of, because I'm pretty sure that after a year I would forget most of the things that happened during the construction process, and I don't want to do that. I want to kind of make a memory of the process, and just because it's like how do you say, it's something, I believe that it's something that everyone should do once in the lifetime, at least once in a lifetime. Like, build a house, not buy a house or buy a flat, because that is, that's very convenient, that's very easy. You can just go directly. It's like a product, right? It's like a ready product. You just go and buy it. But building a house on your own, not on your own in the sense that building an independent house, that is slightly different. You have to either get an architect or at least a draft person to draw you a plan and all that. So so let's start. So I'm going to do this as a multi-part series, like multi-episode series. So in each episode we'll focus on one aspect of it. So since this is the first episode, I thought I'll start with how the first step. Basically, once you realize that you need a house. So the moment we realized that myself, my wife, and our kid, or at least myself and my wife, the point when we realized that we needed a house was in mid of 2021, maybe earlier than that, maybe February of 2021. So that was like I think the second COVID wave was done. I guess that was in October 2020, right? So it was right after that, and then things were kind of not normal, but then there were signs of things turning back to normal. We were still working from home, all of us, but then we asked ourselves the question that okay, so things are going back to normal. That means that so when the COVID started, we were staying with my wife's parents in their house, because our kid was too young, so 9 months old, and we couldn't do our jobs and also take care of a kid and do all the household stuff and all that. So at that time, all of us, and we just had come back from a trip in 2020 March 7 or sometime like that, and right after that, I think a week after that, that is when the corona outbreak happened, and the lockdown was declared, right? So that time we decided all of us will stay together in one house, and then we were there for like till 2 weeks back. So that is like close to 3 years, more than 3 years actually. So then in 2021, early 2021, January, February, we started thinking, okay, what should we do after this? Like, should we buy a flat? Should we buy a house which is already built, or should we build a house? And wife had a piece of land in a place called Mulandirthi. So that is around 6 kilometers from Tripunithura, and it's 2.5 kilometers from Chotanagara temple. That should be, everyone is familiar with that temple. So we thought, okay, fine. Then okay, so how do we get started? We need someone to do this for us, right? We cannot do it ourselves, especially since all of us are working. So and of course, so we started asking around our relatives and friends, people, contractors who can build a house and all that. And then we got a couple of contacts. So I called a guy who's a contractor. He builds house near Tripunithura and roundabout areas. So we talked to him, and he said his rate is around 1,800 rupees per square feet. And but he will only construct the house, but plan and everything someone else has to do it, right? So he said like that, and then they have a draft contract, or they'll tell you what all things are included in this 1,800 rupees per square feet. So his thing was, he'll do the civil construction, he'll do the electricals, he'll do the plumbing and painting, boundary wall, gate, and they have a list of things, right? So we would so that was that. And then we also inquired with a couple of other people, and one other person we talked to who was an architect. He said they'll design the house in the sense that they'll give you plan, drawing and everything. You just need to pay like 15,000 or 30,000 something for the plan drawings, and you also need to get the drawings to get the building permit and the approvals from your local governing body, like your panchayat or village or whatever it is. So that also they'll do, right? And so then we were like, okay, fine. Then okay, now we need a plan, or we need a design of the house, right? You need a 3D elevation and all that. So and when you're into this, you will naturally end up in YouTube searching for house designs. How should our house look? What are different styles of houses that people do now? So you have Kerala style, you have a contemporary style, and then of course you have your Scandinavian style houses, and all different houses, all different styles of houses are available to be built. The designs are available to be built. So we were looking through all these things, and then we saw this channel called Concept Design Studio. So we didn't know what this was, but so most of the design videos, or most of the videos that we saw, it was mostly like the 3D model thing, right? It was rendered. It was not actual product that they were showing. But then Concept Design Studios videos were actual houses that they built, and it was quite, I wouldn't say it was very flashy or impressive, but it had a very elegant quality to it. The designs were very kind of earthly tones, warm lighting, and it was very homely, right? So that is what you want. That is what I want from a house. I don't want a flashy house, because flashy things with a lot of glossy finishes and all that, it will look great on that housewarming day, right? But after that it does not age well, right? But if it is, if your home is like warm, and if it should feel like a home, right? It should feel like a nice place to be, right? You don't want to impress everyone every day of the year, right? So it should feel warm, right? And all their finishes and all their materials and everything was like matte finish. There is no glossy tile, or there is no glossy surfaces on the wardrobes or countertops or anything. And it was really, so we liked that design, right? And they had built a couple of cost-effective houses. That's what the architect of the Concept Design Studio, Shindo Varghese, calls those kind of houses, where it's not essentially a cheap house, but you spend the money cost effectively. To whatever budget you have, you spend it cost effectively to make it look nice, right? So they had done a couple of houses like that. They had done houses in like 3.5 cents of land or 4 cents of land, and so we kind of got the feeling that okay, so he'll also do houses on a budget, and he has also done like big mansions and all that. So we thought, okay, this guy, it looks nice. I mean, their product, and we can see the real product. So that also kind of drew us to that Concept Design Studio. So that way we thought, okay, fine, we'll approach them and ask them like what is the process and all that. So I called them up on their office phone, and I told them that we have this piece of land in Mulundurthi and we would like to build a house, and so we would like to engage you for your services. So they asked me to send an email. So they get a lot of inquiries. So generally, people don't get to talk to Shundaworks directly. So we had to send an email. So I sent an email with the location sketch, and they had asked a couple of details of what we wanted and all that. So we sent an email, and we got a reply back saying that they are kind of busy with other work right now, and we would need to wait 2 months for them to start our work. So we said we'll wait because we were not in a hurry to start the construction soon. So we waited, and I think around after 1.5 months, we get a mail back saying that we can start the work. And they had sent us the cost structure for Concept Design Studio. So how this works is, when you engage a architecture firm, they'll have a designing fee that needs to be paid to them. Okay, so designing fee for us, how it came about was it was around 149 rupees per square feet plus GST. So that calculates around 179 rupees per square feet. Okay, and so 2,200 square feet house, it would come around how much? Around 3.5, 3.7 lakhs, something like that. So that was the fee, and this is not something that you need to pay upfront. This is paid in stages. Okay, so the first payment that we made to them was around 15,000 rupees as a non-refundable deposit, a non-refundable payment for them to draw the basic plan for that particular plot. Okay, so we are given them a plot drawing, and with our requirements, they'll draw a plan first. And our requirements, they asked us like what rooms we want, how many people are going to stay in the room, house and everything. So we said we want 2 bedrooms at the ground floor, and then it's everything. Then you can decide. Like upper floors, we'll have 1 master bedroom. So 3 bedrooms is what we decided, and we just told them this. So they drew us a plan, initial plan, and so we had to approve it, right? So the initial plan, there was 3 living rooms actually. So there was a formal living room, there was a family living room, and on the ground floor there was 2 bedrooms and 1 kitchen. So then we said, why do we need 2 living rooms in the ground floor? Why don't we have just 1 big living room? So they said so the reason why we have 2 living rooms is because if there is someone, if there's a salesperson or if someone that you don't want to bring into your the family living room, like suppose if someone is watching TV in the family living room, you don't want to you don't want someone to kind of invade your home's privacy or your family's privacy, right? So you can deal with them in the formal living room, and then and our design is in such a way that from the formal living room they won't be able to see inside the house. Okay, so the design is like when you open the front door, right behind the front door, there's a wall. There's a half wall kind of thing. Like it's full length, but it's a half wall. So what it does is it covers the view all the way till the kitchen. So if that wall was not there, as soon as you open the front door, and if someone is standing in front of the front door, they can see all the way till the kitchen. They can see the family living, they can see inside the kitchen, right? So that is the reason for that wall. And we also asked, why do you need a wall like that? What is the purpose of that? We don't want that. So they explained, it's not like that. This is the reason why that wall is there. Okay, then fine, makes sense. And then another thing was that we wanted some kind of a feature in the family living, right? So we had seen a couple of this Pinterest photos of other homes where they had a kind of a courtyard in the middle of a living room, right? But that was a bigger house. Our house, square feet wise, it was not, ours was not as big as theirs. But then we asked them, like, can we do this? We sent them a photo and we asked them, can we do this? And they said it is not practical, because if you have a plant inside the house, it will need sunlight, and that means that you will need a skylight, right? And if you have a skylight, the room would get warm, right? Because if sunlight comes in, then your room would get warm, right? and with a lot of other reasons, like maintaining that area and all that. It's not very nice thing to have a plant, and that not a small plant. We are talking about a small tree kind of a thing in the middle, right? So they explained that is not really good. And then so we wanted something special, no? Everyone wants something special in their home. So we asked them, like, so what is special about this design or this thing that you're doing? So they said that you have a courtyard, which is kind of which has access from the dining room, and that will be a nice cozy area, and that will be a very highlight of your house. That is one highlight of the house. Okay. So we thought, okay, fine. If they're saying like that, then maybe it should be good. So and in the first floor they had another family living room, right? So we said, oh, so we have 2 living rooms in the ground floor and 1 in the upper first floor. We said we don't want that. So instead of that, what we did was we cut short that living room, and then we took that space outside. So we had a balcony in front of the house. We extended that balcony into the house, and we made that a big open space. So I think there is around 200 square feet of open terrace patio, where you can, if the weather allows, you can conduct a small birthday function or something like that, and you can maybe put up pergola, and then you can make it into a nice open air space that is usable. Right, so we did that, and then so we had planned around kind of 2,200 square feet house. So when we removed the family living from the first floor, we had some more square feet to play with. So we then thought, okay, so why don't we make this into a 3-bedroom plus 1 office come entertainment room come a 4th bedroom, right? So we told them, okay, so with this square feet, we would like to have another room, which will be mainly an office room. So it will have a big desk, and it will have, we can put the office chairs in it, and then it should also have a sofa come bed, right? So it will be like a entertainment room. Like if I have friends over, we can get together in that room without disturbing anyone else in the house, right? And maybe have a mini bar or something like that on the side, or maybe a drinks trolley, so things like that. And that will be like a multi-purpose room. You can have a music system and things like that. And if suppose we have extra guests in the house and they need a place to sleep, we can convert that sofa into a bed, and they can sleep on that sofa, right? So that is the idea. So we told them that, and they agreed to that, and they drew us the updated plan, and then that was confirmed. So we confirmed that plan, and they do the step by step. This is why it is called Rotary's podcast. I should have a camera facing that side, that direction also. Oh my god. All right, so we confirmed the plan, and then the next step is to draw the 3D exterior, right? The 3D elevation of the exterior. So then again, they asked us, like, do you have any reference photos, or do you what kind of a house do you want? Do you want a Kerala style, contemporary, or what kind of house do you want? So we had a reference picture. So that was some house in Scandinavia. It was 2 floors. It had really high glass windows. I mean, high windows, like from floor to ceiling windows. It had a lot of black cladding tiles put on it, and it was like a very dark house, very spacious. But it was the design. We were attracted to the design, and we wanted something similar to it. So we gave them that. We gave them that with the expectation that they would do the exactly same thing, because that is what we wanted. Okay. We gave them that when I think we didn't give them too much instructions at the first. So, and they didn't ask us also. They went ahead, they created a elevation, which you can see now on the screen, and we didn't like it instantly, because it was okay. The only design elements were in the front side of the house. Okay, so our plot is like a corner plot, right? So there are roads on 2 sides. On the lengthwise side, it's like a rectangular plot. It is 24 meters in length and 13 meters in width. So it's like a rectangular plot. And on the 2 sides, on the lengthwise side and on the front side also, there is a road, right? It's a front facing road and a side facing road. So the problem with that is the view of the house is not just from the front, it is also from the side of the road, right? So because of that, if you just do elements on the front of the house, the rest of the house, the side of the house it would look really plain. So we told them that this is too simple, and it was all white. There was not much colors or anything. And we had told them that we don't want, and our reference picture that was supposed to communicate the fact that we didn't want a white house, like whitewashed house. We wanted a house that was a bit dark. And then as we said, maybe the way we give the feedback was not correct, because we told them it was too simple first, and then we had told them some other things, and they went back and they did another design after a couple of weeks, and that was like way over the top. There were like too many elements, too many way too many things. You can see it in the screen right now. So that also was like too much. So we thought, then we told them, no, this is too much, we don't want this. And then they were like confused. Then they said, see, we already done 2 designs, okay? The third design that we do, it has to be the final one. We cannot do more than 3. Then they said, Shinto will call you. I said, okay, fine. Again, road rage. And Shinto called us, and Shinto was like, so what do you guys really want? And we told them, see, this is what we told them. And the thing is, what they did was, I'm not blaming them, like, this is what happened. So basically the reference pictures we gave them, it had certain elements. It had a couple of wood panels on the outside, or something that looked like wood panels on the outside. It had black cladding tiles, right? And what they did was they picked on those details and they used them in the house design, but then it didn't give the same effect that we wanted or we got from that reference image. Okay, so that is the problem, and we told them that, see, this is the thing. It's like, and Shinto was saying, see, if you do this, it will be this expensive. If you do that, that will be expensive. So please keep all these things in mind and all that. And I said, no, all that is fine. It's like, see, we want a house that looks like this, like a dark exterior thing. He said, yeah, we have done a black house, we have done a very brown house, and all that. So we said, yeah, so this is what we want. Then he understood, okay, so this is what these guys want, and fine. So, we'll do that. So, and then they went back and they did another design, which you can see now. And that was, perfect. That was, we knew that, okay, this is our house. Like, this is what we wanted. This looks impressive. And instantly, the moment we saw myself and the moment my wife saw it, we were convinced that, okay, fine, this is really awesome. And so that was decided. Then we said, instantly we said, really good job, we really liked it, we are confirming this 3D. We can start the rest of the work. So by now, we had paid them first 15,000 for the plan, and then after the plan was confirmed, we paid them another 69,000 rupees for the 3D elevation and for the rest of the drawings, not just 3D elevation, the rest of the drawings. So once you confirm the 3D, then what they'll do is they'll draw up all the drawings that needs to be approved by the panchayat or your local governing body, and also they'll draw the drawings for your civil contractor. So person who has to build the house, they will give different drawings, like the front, they have a name for this, I forgot, front AA, AB. So it's like the technical drawing for the front face of the house, the left side, the back side, the right side, and then there is a thing called centerline drawing, then there is a thing called set off drawing. So basically, when you're constructing a house in a plot, if your plot is, let's say, 20 meters by 10 meters, from the front of the house, you need to leave, from the road, you need to leave 3 meters gap from the road to the house. Okay, so that should be gap like that. And from in the back side of the house, depending on your where you are, if you're in a panchayat, village, or a municipality, they have different rules. For us, it was we need to leave 1.1 meters from back and the sides, right, from the sides of the house. So there's a thing called set off. So that set off drawing also they'll provide. So, and they'll also provide all the technical drawings for your columns and beams, and your foundation, where it should come, And yeah, we got the foundation drawings because normally you don't have a, foundation drawing is not that important if you're doing, I think it is not important if you are doing a rubble foundation, but we couldn't do that. I'll explain that why later on. Okay, so yeah, they'll do all this drawing and everything, and then so they are doing all these things, and Concept Design Studios does a thing called a turnkey project. Okay, so the turnkey project, if what they do is they will basically design the house, they'll design the exterior, they'll design the interior, they'll design all the interior details, they'll design the lighting, they'll design the furniture, they'll pick your bed sheets, they'll pick your curios, everything they'll do. And basically if they show you a 3D, they'll basically build that house and give it to you, right? But it's not as simple as saying it. Okay, even if I say that they'll build it for you and give it to you, it is not just them. They have several subcontractors, and they have a sister company called Sand Builders who does the civil construction, and so that's how they work. So when they said that it'll be a turnkey project and we'll build the whole thing for you, it'll be just we'll give you the key and it'll be like that. It's not that simple. It's never that simple. Okay, so we initially thought that. So we were asking, we were thinking, okay, so they have a plan, they have a 3D, so they'll give us an estimate, right? And maybe from the estimate, some 5-10% here and there it will be changing. So we give them this lump sum money, or we give them this money, like say, so we asked them what will be the cost of this house, and they said it should be around 3,500 to 4,500 rupees per square feet for the full finished house. Okay, so even if they say this, it is not that. I mean, it won't. It's not that straightforward. Okay, it's a lot more complex process than thing, right? So I realized that was basically a kind of an indication of an estimate for the house you're building, because this Shindo is saying this, or the architect is saying this based on the houses he had previously built. Okay, but the problem is the houses that he previously built the work started before Corona, right? And after Corona, because of all the logistic supply issues and everything, the material cost has gone up, and the labor cost has also gone up, right? So even every year the cost of building a house keeps going up because of inflation, because of several other factors. Now, okay, so he said this, it will be around 3,500 to 4,500 rupees per square feet. So when we calculated, it was like around 85-90 lakhs. So we thought, okay, that shouldn't be a problem, we can afford that. And we were thinking, okay, so we'll take some 765 lakhs loan, and another 20 lakhs or 25 lakhs we'll put up, and then we'll pay them 10% every 2 months or every month or something. They'll build the house and give it to us. It doesn't work like that. Okay, so after this happened, after all the plans and everything were drawn, then they gave us a contact for this Sand Builders to a person called Sanish. Okay, so what I got was, I just got an email, and it had a draft civil construction agreement, which had certain conditions and certain things that they mentioned that in the civil contract, these are the things that we construct. Okay, so I got the contract, and there were a lot of things mentioned in it. They had mentioned, okay, it will be so they had also mentioned the stages of the construction. So basically the stages of the construction is the civil stages are initially, first is the basement, right? So in the contract they had mentioned it will be a stone rubble basement. So that is your basic, your rock, you have your rock foundation, and on top of that you build your house. So and that was included in the contract, and the contract rate was 2,150 rupees per square feet for doing the whole civil thing. But in that, lot of things were missing, and missing in the sense it was not included in the civil contract, and they will also mention all the materials used, and how much money they are going to spend on each of these things, right? So for example, first thing they mentioned was the basement would be rock foundation. Second thing that they mentioned was for all the concrete work, the steel would be Jindal steel and the cement used will be Ultratech. Okay, so these two are really good in the market. The Ultratech is definitely the best cement that you can buy, and Jindal steel is also a really good brand of steel. And if you want to change the steel or the cement, then you can tell them and they'll calculate the rate based on that. Okay, so if you want to go to Tata Steel, then they'll recalculate based on the amount of Tata steel that you need to construct the house. So based on that, your square feet rate will, of course, change. And another thing was that painting was not included in this contract. Okay, some builders they would add painting, but in that case, you should check the cement and the steel used in the construction. In that case, it might be less, right? And the tile that they mentioned in the contract was 50 rupees per square feet tile. So if you wanted to put an 85 rupees per square feet tile in the construction, then what you do is you need to procure the tile, give it to them, and they'll reduce this tile amount that they said they'll put up from your payment. Okay, so if they say, like, suppose for easiness of explanation, if they say they'll spend 50 rupees per square feet and you have some 2000 square feet house, that's like what, 1 lakh rupees tile, and you want 2.5 lakh rupees tile. So what you do is you procure the tile for 2.5 lakhs from the vendor, you give it to the builder, and they will decrease the 1 lakh rupees from your stage payment that you have to do on the flooring, right? So that is how that works. And then the sanitary ware also, it's like they'll spend only some 48,000, 50,000 rupees overall for the sanitary items. So that is like a basic Western closet, and your wash basin, shower, your tap, and all that. So that is what is included in the contract. Okay, and if you want something better, then again the same thing. You procure it, you give it to them, and the 50,000 rupees they'll decrease from your next payment. Okay, so that is how all these additions and all these things work. And then they'll also mention the wood work. What kind of wood is used for the front door? So front door for us it was teak. So the frame and the door will be teak, and all the other exterior doors would be violet wood. And what else? And all the wiring and everything, the MCB wiring and everything is included in the contract. Plumbing is included in the contract, basically like all the pipes and everything. So they'll ask if you want pressure pump. You're going to fix a pressure pump for your bathrooms and everything. So we said yes, we want a pressure pump, because the modern drain showers and everything, it needs a pressure pump to operate properly. Otherwise, you wouldn't get enough pressure in the pipes for that thing to work correctly. And especially in the kitchen, if you want to install a pull-out tap, those things also require a pressure pump to operate properly. And I think it is actually a good investment. It's not that expensive also. Like you can get a 2-bathroom pressure pump for like 16,000 rupees that actually you can install for 4 bathrooms, as long as those 4 bathrooms are not being used simultaneoly, and not being used in the sense that if all 4 bathrooms people are taking a bath at the same time, then you wouldn't get enough pressure from that single 2-bathroom pressure pump. But in my house, what I've done is we have 4 bathrooms, but only 3 people are living there, right? So only maximum 2 bathrooms will be used at the same time. So in that case, I just installed a 2-bathroom flow switch, ground force flow switch pressure pump. That is really sufficient for us. Yeah, so they'll ask if you want all that, and then if you say yes, then they'll install all the taps and everything. So that way we had got the contract, and yeah. So I think I'll stop here now. In the next episode, I'll talk about the civil construction, all the stages involved in civil construction, and in the later episodes, I'll talk about the different steps like flooring, the plumbing, the electrical work, the interior work, and all that. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for now. See you in the next video.